Greetings, YouTube. I just wanted to make a video to point out something I've been noticing, a curious commonality. The phenomenon of calling things misinformation to declare them, I don't know, evil or something. I'll explain and it'll make more sense. I think I saw it first with Donald Trump and his whole fake news thing. And at the time, I was against Donald Trump. I didn't really like his character. I thought he was like an ultimate troll, and I loved watching the way he just like destroyed people in debates and stuff. And like anytime he talked, he was rather entertaining. But I didn't think he should be the leader of a nuclear power. And so I kind of thought, well, the media, one side points out the negatives, and the other side points out the positives. But still, it was fake news, right? The idea of misinformation. And I guess in that case, it was him calling the news organizations misinformation, but then they called him misinformation. And now recently, I'm seeing a similar, well, then the next thing I saw was with the GameStop situation, where this company, which was a failing retail brick and mortar store, was going out of business, but then it got taken over by new management, and it's going to better places now. And as well, all that's happening, there's been and still is this misinformation campaign to try to discredit it by the media, by legacy media, as they call them now. And that's when I really started noticing, because I'm an investor in GameStop. and curiously, the ruling elites, the financial elites, the people who own the media, are short on GameStop, which means they've made a bet that it's going to fail. And they're going to lose a lot of money if it doesn't fail. And I don't think it's going to fail. But now recently, there was this Joe Rogan controversy where people were calling him misinformation, saying he's spreading misinformation. And they were using this to try to censor him and get him pulled off of Spotify, to take away his voice. Like Donald Trump, his voice has been taken away because of that reason. Alex Jones, his voice has been taken away because of that reason. But Joe Rogan's voice was not taken away because the company stood with him. But there was a lot of calls for it by the media. And I saw online on Reddit, this is the first time I saw Reddit agreeing with the misinformation on like the subreddits like r/entertainment. People were pretty pissed at Rogan. I guess people who had never watched him. And this kind of blew my mind. I was like, shit, people actually buy into this misinformation campaign, because that's really what it is. It's kind of funny. The people calling people misinformation are really the ones spreading misinformation. And I'm really tired of saying that word. But now another thing has been happening around the same time, but it's still going on. Whereas the Joe Rogan thing has kind of died down. I guess they realized that they can't take him out. Even if they did get him taken off of Spotify, he would have just went somewhere else. Like this other platform, Rumble, offered him $100 million to come join them. But I digress. So now this Freedom Convoy, that's now the latest thing where I'm seeing this misinformation thing. These protesters in Canada, where we have the right to peaceful assembly, are being targeted with misinformation campaigns. People are just, the media, I should say, are pointing out these negatives. Like they say, they film someone who had a Nazi flag, and you gotta wonder where that flag came from. Like, have you ever heard of false flag operations? Kind of funny that the name has a flag in it, and that's literally what they used, was a false flag, because if you actually watch the live streams from the actual protesters, there's no Nazi flags, it's all Canadian flags. But what does the media put out? A ton. Oh, these are Nazis, and then the government uses that to just tar them all with the same brush. Like literally, the prime minister here called them like racist. I shouldn't say literally. I don't remember exactly what his words were, but he's using that as a reason to not even talk to them and to demonize them and to invoke this Emergencies Act, which used to be called the War Measures Act, which was last used against a rather terrorist organization that was literally abducting members of government and holding them hostage at gunpoint. So, vastly different circumstances. These protesters, there's not been a single violent incident, but now police are there in full riot gear with rifles and tear gas and horses running over people. And even that has been called misinformation, but I've literally seen the footage of somebody run over with a horse. So now it all this, today I saw something that really made it hit home, because when Trudeau announced this Emergencies Act, he was joined by his finance minister, who it is known is on the board of the World Economic Forum. I think that's what it's called. It's the Klaus Schwab thing. They have like those ads saying you'll own nothing and be happy. And so our finance minister here in Canada is on their board, and apparently other members of cabinet are too. As I just saw this footage from our parliament hearings are all recorded and we can watch them all. And somebody just asked a question asking about if they could clarify how many people in our parliament are working with this World Economic Forum. And what do? They interrupt them and say, "Oh, we can't hear the question very well. Can somebody else talk?" And then the next person who talks says, "Sir, that is disinformation and we should not let them speak." And then it just hit me. Well, then actually it cut to another clip of literally Klaus Schwab. I think I have his name right. I'm going to put a link in the description of that video. And this is from InfoWars, Alex Jones. I used to think Alex Jones was rather out there. I mean, he kind of is still out there, but he's been going on about globalists forever. And this World Economic Forum is literally people who are globalists. They want it to be like a one world thing, which I would think would be good in theory, one government. But this misinformation thing, I don't like it. And so but anyways, the footage, it showed Klaus Schwab literally saying he is working. They have people in various governments, and like he said the question, the guy who asked the question used Klaus Schwab's words almost exactly, and they said that was misinformation, but that's right from the horse's mouth. That, like he said, France and some other place and Canada, they have that this World Economic Forum has people working with them, and I don't know exactly what their goals are, but it's just very interesting to me that all these people are claiming disinformation. That's this new tactic. And I got I got banned from a subreddit today called World News with over 2 million people on there, and the reason was that I was spreading misinformation by correcting somebody who said it was an anti-vax protest. I said, they're not anti-vax. Many of them are vaccinated. They're anti-mandate. They don't believe you should be mandated to be vaccinated. Where people are losing their livelihoods. Even people who have donated to this cause are having their bank accounts frozen. And so it's just very interesting. I just wanted to say some thoughts on that.